Hello there, you're watching Star Television Network on Channel 21. Welcome to the news bulletin for the hour with me, Leona Gajawara. And here are the top stories making the news headlines. Andrew Kemokaili has officially declared his resignation from the Sierra Leone People's Party to join the National Grand Coalition Party headed by Dr. Kande Yumkela. World Bank Country Manager Parminder Bra has said skills development and quality education are critical to help grow the country's economy. The Sierra Leone Got Talent Organization has donated psycho-fitness equipment worth 1.5 billion euros to the 14 health districts across the country through the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. And the Sports Sierra Leone Under-17 female team will depart the shores of Sierra Leone on Tuesday, 24th October 2017, ahead of the second leg of the World Cup Women's Championship preliminary stage encounter against the Gambia's Under-17 female team. And now the news in detail. Andrew Kemokaili, who resigned from the Sierra Leone People's Party a few weeks ago after the party's convention in Kenema, has officially declared his resignation from the SLPP to join the National Grand Coalition Party headed by Dr. Kande Yumkela. Now, this declaration was made on Monday, 23rd October at the Atlantic Conference Hall, Isiaka Stevens Stadium in Freetown. Let's join Wahida Sisay as she has more reports.
Andrew K. Kiley, a former SLPP party member who withdrew from the SLPP flag bearer contest in September this year, has officially joined the National Grand Coalition. This decision, according to him, is the right direction with bright vision for the betterment of Sierra Leone. The declaration was made on Monday, 23rd October at the Atlantic Hall of Shaker Stevens Stadium in Freetown. In his public resignation from the SLPP and declaration for the NGC, Mr. Kiley said, having made several consultations and conferred with family members, friends, political associates and supporters, and having reflected on the future of Sierra Leone, he has reached to the climax to change his political direction. He cited several reasons for his resignation from the SLPP, stating that he is not willing to stay in a system that is severely flawed, which he believed undermines his cherished values, and a system that does not create a room for inclusiveness but divergence in thinking, which deprive the effect of a change in a nation.
By helping to chart a new direction for our country. I've carefully weighed these issues and repeatedly asked myself why I should stay within a system that is severely flawed and contravenes my deeply cherished values that I have stood for in life, merely to preserve a status quo based on allegiance that does not further the unity and development of our country. I've also come to the conclusion that meaningful change will only come from the ideas of like-minded people who want to effect change in a resolute, systematic way to take this country on a new development trajectory, and who profess principles that I deeply care for. For all of these reasons, I've made the decision to resign from the SLPP forthwith and join the National Grand Coalition.
He added that he has been given full assurance by the leadership of the NGC party to join them with a better vision for Sierra Leone in terms of inclusiveness, justice, and the socio-economic development for the country.
My discussions with the leadership of the NGC have given me considerable assurance that I'm moving to a party with a vision for our beloved country. To which I subscribe, a vision of inclusiveness, justice, respect for others, economic empowerment and enlightenment in an equitable manner in this country.
One of the active members of the SLPP party, Madam Aissata J. Kaba, fondly known as IJ Kaba, said at the gathering that the SLPP candidate lacks the required potentials in winning the 2018 elections. She therefore supports the decision of Mr. Kiley to resign from the SLPP party, which according to her is now derailed under the prevailing circumstances and leadership of West Africa's oldest political party, but hopes to join the mining engineer perhaps later.
But on a more serious note, me I really want to say plenty thank you to everybody who can today for can support Andrew. Una don't show say una trust them, una believe in them, and una don't make mistake. And you don't talk as some of una, you don't start from 2010. Some Monday America, some Monday England, plenty people can actually because in the work. If like a weekend, it will be a different body. So we want to tell people that we don't hate anybody. We will just want to put the party on the right track. The party where we forefathers they left for we believe in internal democracy, we believe in law and order, we believe so for respect authority and respect myself. But if that party they don't turn to a battlefield, every day na beat, every day na mamikos, every day they stab people, we take a back seat, we sit down. Then we say, oh, wait there, we make an effect. When they happen, people go carry him and then beat them, say they seize motor can in hand. We not be getting. So that don't show us say the party not serious. They're not ready for win elections. Because any political party not ready for win election, you dey look for super candidates who are marketable. You dey look for a candidate where you know say Itima, a guy that grab it or say people will say, I will support this man because of A, B, C, D.
I cannot do that, won't you?
So do ya. We want to tell God plenty thank you for waking Andrew up to this time and the supporters. And we serve in a road path. But we're not ready. So
Mr. Andrew K. Kiley, who was an active member of the SLPP party until his resignation, was well supported by his loyal supporters for his new direction to join the NGC party, and promised, as one of the supporters said, to join in the venture to become NGC members. Andrew Kiley and supporters were well received by the leadership of the National Grand Coalition, Dr. Kande Yum Keller at the party office, Tembe-Town. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Waida Sisay.
Well, to discuss more on that, we have in the studio Imran Silla. He is the interim National Publicity Secretary of the National Grand Coalition. Welcome to Star TV, Mr. Imran.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and tell us, how well is Andrew Kiley welcome to the NGC? What does the NGC as a party make of his crossing over from the SLPP? And how can you describe his action?
Well, I think we're first of all happy on behalf of the executive, the interim chairman and leader, who is Dr. Dennis White, contrary to your initial report that it was Dr. Kande Yum Keller. We are happy to receive Andrew Kiley as a member of the National Grand Coalition, not only a member, but a distinguished Grand Chief Patron today, at the party office at Nelson Lane in Tembe-Town. And it shows, if for anything, that the NGC is moving forward, right? We have people who we consider to be the movers and shakers of politics in this country. And Andrew Kiley's move from the SLPP to the NGC, for me, is a political earthquake. That is what I consider it to be, because for someone of his repute, who was given the highest civilian honor by the President of the Republic, and is by Kroma, right, shows he is somebody who has served this nation, right, in his specialty as an engineer, but also as a philanthropist and just in politics generally. And so we welcome him. It shows the NGC is moving forward, and there are more names to come, big names, not only from the SLPP, because the number of people who are helping us, who are contributing to the NGC and our direction forward from the ruling party are much more than the numbers you see from the other side coming in. So there is a trajectory here, meaning that the party is moving forward in the right direction, and people our message is actually appealing to people, which is fresh faces. We want change, right? We're tired with this political culture. We want to bring renewed hope, transformation, and opportunities for the people of this country, and I think that is connecting with the people.
All right. Now, you earlier you said Mr. Kylie's coming to the NGC is a
Yeah.
political earthquake. So, what do you think he will bring to the NGC? What impact do you think his coming over to the NGC will create to the party?
Well, look, in two ways. Firstly, put it in terms of numbers. Andrew is coming with in excess of 10, 15, 20, 30,000 votes, literally handing them over to the NGC. And if elections are all about votes at the end of the day, then that is very necessary, and that's what we're looking for. Because the people he brought over, who are also registered members now of the NGC, are people from constituencies, from districts, from regions, people who have served the SLPP before in the past in various capacities, and also, by and large, the general membership of the SLPP who've moved over. And don't forget the rippling effect, meaning, right, that every household, traditionally in this country, at least peg it at around 10. So if you take their household and the friends and families and those they're related to, right, and total those figures, we're in excess of 20, 30,000, right, that have moved over, right, to the NGC as a result of Andrew deciding to join us today. But in addition to that, let me give you another case in point. In 2012 alone, Andrew Kamokaili raised about $300,000 internally for the SLPP, at the presidential elections. Now, that is not going to happen again, unfortunately, for the SLPP. So those connections and contacts that he has got, right, would be very useful to the NGC. And just his sheer intellect and capacity, right, to add value to our objective and the things we stand for. I think in very many ways we are definitely going to benefit from his crossing over, and we welcome it.
And now you also talk about change. Does the NGC represent the change people are yearning for?
Oh, clearly. Look. Sierra Leone, they say, is 56 years old, right? And what have we achieved as a nation after 56 years, right? It's all down to the political culture that we have in the country at the moment, which us voters have accepted as the norm. And increasingly, there is that awareness that, look, we don't tire with everything, right? Because it's as if in the mindset of the political class now, in those two political parties, they have taken it for granted, and as a result, taken us, the people of this country, for fools. Meaning, they know they have to split it 10 years between the two of them. So you come, do as much as you want to, rip the nation bare of everything, steal as much as you want to, and then you go and another one comes in for 10 years. And look, those who are suffering the most are just the ordinary citizens of this country. Young people, for example, 70% youth unemployment, infant mortality rate, high infant mortality rate. We're talking about a free health care. Is it really working? No. So we in the NGC, we want to bring about change for the people of this country. Fresh faces, people who have got the decency, right, who have got what it takes. And over and above all that, people who have got no blemish whatsoever, unblemished characters, decent and
read your manifesto.
Forthright. It's not the manifesto.
Yeah,
it's just. A general viewpoint.
Let me just ask you this: do you think the NGC will be able to make an impact? Since we have the APC and the SLPP, these are traditional parties, they're old parties. So, do you think the NGC will be able to make an impact in the country?
Thankfully, you say these are old parties, and that's the way we feel, that they're indeed very old. They've run out of ideas. They've got nothing new to offer the people of this country. And don't forget, Gambia did it in 4 months, right? Nigeria did theirs in how many months? It's about 6 or so, right? Macron in France did it in about 8 months. So there's a pattern, and I sense that this is about the time when the people of this country are looking for a fresh start.
Okay. Finally, before I let you go, now that you've become a political party, how optimistic are you guys?
are very, very, very optimistic. Look, our faith is in the people of this country, right? That together we are looking for something new. Together we want to do away with the current political structure. Together, culture rather, together we want to begin to address the real problems, right, that has affected this nation and its people for 56 years. So
Right.
I am more than confident and hopeful.
And transition.
We are going to finally,
Transition, yeah.
finally, we are going to show the political class at this moment that we, the citizens of this country, are not fools at all.
All right, and transitioning from a movement to a political party.
Yeah.
How has that been so far?
It's been exciting. It's been good. We're going about with our message of hope, opportunity, and transformation, and are speaking to the young people, to women as well, because what is going to be included in our manifesto is going to be focused on youth. How do we develop them? On women. How do we make sure we go beyond the 30% quota that we're struggling to meet at the moment to get women involved in politics, and so many others. So I mean, it's a good time for us.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Imran Sila is the interim national publicity secretary of the National Brand Coalition. Thank you so much for your time. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And now let's go in for I Know the Story. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund annual meetings are ended in Washington, D.C., where the bank's president, Jim Kim, called on world leaders to invest more on human development. At the sidelines of the meeting, the bank's manager to Sierra Leone, Paminda Bra, said they are working on a new project that is focused on skills development and strengthen the education sector. Our colleague Amadou Lamrenaba tells in this report.
World Bank Country Manager Paminda Bra has said skills development and quality education are critical to help grow the country's economy. Speaking on the sidelines of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C., Bra said the discussion on human capital at the meeting is very important for the country, especially when the bank is developing a new project on skills development and the reforms in the education sector.
I think for one, the support from the World Bank for Sierra Leone has doubled for the next 3 years during the IDA 18 cycle. So starting from July 2017, Sierra Leone will be receiving double the amount of funding than it did during the previous 3 years. And more than that, I think Sierra Leone has all the natural resources, right? And the way to grow the economy is really through skills development and through education. That is why this summit is so important. This is called the 2017 Human Capital Summit, and a lot of the focus, including the theme for the Africa region, is on skills development.
Bra went on to state that there is a huge potential for improvement with skills development that will prepare the middle-level manpower, create jobs and livelihood for the many young people. He added that the new project will focus on education, improve on the already existing institutions, professionalize the teaching profession, as well as providing a demand-led skills development initiative.
The name of the game for the 21st century is really education and skills development, right? I think education is the key for moving any economy ahead. And Sierra Leone starting at a low base, I think we've had challenges in the past, but we see a lot of improvement, potential for improvement. We see the Teacher Service Commission being set up. We really need to professionalize the entire teaching profession a lot better than it is right now. So I think we're going to focus on education, we're going to focus on including skills development for teachers, but on the productive sectors, on the industry side, we want the entire skill development agenda to be demand-led.
On the deliberations at the meetings, Bra said the Sierra Leone delegation had fruitful engagement on the different projects that the bank is supporting. He ended by confirming that the bank will increase their funding support to the country.
These are annual meetings which take place. This is our annual meeting for 2017. We've had, the minister has been here, the governor of the central bank has been here. They've had very good discussions with the IMF. And yesterday we had very good discussions with the Minister of Finance and the entire delegation of Sierra Leone. And basically what you should expect is a little bit more funding and more grant funding from the World Bank than was originally planned for 2017.
The annual meetings of the Board of Governors of the World Bank Group and the International Monetary Fund bring together central bankers, ministers of finance and development, private sector executives, representatives from civil society organizations, and academics to discuss issues of global concern, including the World Economic Outlook, poverty eradication, economic development, and aid effectiveness. For Star TV News, Amadou Lamganaba reporting.
And now the Sierra Leone Got Talent organization has donated psycho fitness equipment worth 1.5 billion to the 14 health districts across the country through the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. Now, the gesture is to complement government effort in its drive to improve facilities in the psychotherapy department in government hospitals, as well as contributing to the building of a resilient health system in the area of psychotherapy across the country. Here's Lamin Mansari with the details.
Making the presentation, the Chief Executive Officer of Sierra Leone Got Talent, Ibrahim Wuiba, described the donated items as essential products that will help support the different physio departments or units in the government hospital, adding that he decided to champion such events as most hospitals in the country lack such equipment.
Well, first of all, this is not a dream where we always think about whether we follow to become Sierra Leone, as I'm saying. Now, we are the only people, the young ones, who are able to continue to help this country, rather than other people that can help for them can help we. Therefore, seek for make we young country rather than other people. So that's like in the mission for love make a wake up call for others. Them we get money with the things they're not there for die. Love time for make for a day of judgment.
Why you targeted the equipment than other equipment hospitals and other unprivileged people that they look for?
Well, basically, Salon Got Talent organization more formed for the less privileged people that we get the youths outside the street so that they're able to mingle inside the community. And from there, we get this sport, and from there, I've been getting misconcept languages between me and don't put 600 million for able to help the ministry who are not able to get through to them so that the things are able to happen. So why is it not be happen? I get the money, I get the money, they say, I know I get the money.
Dilating on the birth and existence of the organization, Salon Got Talent, he said, had a vision at the initial stage of promoting talents in Sierra Leone with a view of tapping their resources and potentials to become useful citizens in the society they belong. He said the organization can now be seen operating as a non-governmental humanitarian charitable entity to help both the needy and institutions. Receiving the donation on behalf of the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, the Director of Primary Health Care, Dr. Joseph Kande, commended and thanked Mr. Wuri for his organization's timely support. He said the ministry is faced with numerous challenges in the areas of physiotherapy and assured him of the equipment distribution, whilst advocating for more support from other organizations.
But, ladies and gentlemen, with all the we're not going to do it alone. Ministry of Health not going to do it alone. Remember, with the top of 7 million people, 7 million plus people, and one ministry will get, we're responsible for the health of everybody. All these 7 million plus people, and one ministry will get. We're not got 3, 4, 5, 6 ministries to get that. I want to remind you now, again, colleagues, that very soon, I think they are being approved already by His Excellency the President. We don't get 2 new districts, Karina and Falaba. So imagine we get forget DHMT, we get forget for other things, and people are there, we get forget that. We don't know who we could get tomorrow.
Senior physiotherapy at the Connaught University Teaching Hospital in Freetown, Ismail Kebi, expressed gratitude and appreciation to the organization for the support, describing the gesture as additional treasure to the existing facilities in the physiotherapy department at Connaught. Reporting for Star News, this news was compiled by Hilton John and voiced in the studio by Lamin Mansari.
And now let's see what's happening in the sporting world as we join Hilton John for all the details.
Welcome welcome back, Leo, to the team. We wish you all the best despite you are ill the past week. What for today's sporting news? Talking about our female team, yes, they failed to win in the first leg against the Gambian side, the under-17 female team. Despite the predicament of the ladies, they managed to get that defeat. Despite it could be called that the last match of our Sierra Leone female team, we were defeated by 17-1 against the Gambia, to the Nigerian side. Pardon me, now against the Gambia, we failed to secure that important win. Despite the team faced with a lot of challenges, it could be recalled that the Minister of Sport, Ahmed Kanu, deprived the girls from not using the stadium until Friday, when they got access to the stadium in the southern region in Bobo because of an issue surrounding the public relations officer of the Sierra Leone Football Association, who is known as Ibrahim Kamara, and also the Minister of Sport, Ahmed Kanu. In the view of many, that the Minister of Sport is partially responsible for the defeats of the girls because they were deprived for the use of the stadium until Friday. They got access for them to use the Bow Stadium. So the team will depart the country tomorrow to be part of the return leg on Saturday. Wish them all the best. Maybe the impossible become possible for our female under-17 side. They will play against the Gambia female under-17. Away from our female team, the Potafa Inter-Community Football Competition reached its climax in the schoolyard community, wherein two teams have qualified to the grand final. Benjamin Football Club succeeded against Attaya based in the yesterday game, and also we saw a good performance on the Johnsonians when they secured a 1-0 victory against the Edward Lane team. Here is the report.
Well, I feel proud because we go celebrate the final, so I feel proud. I feel good.
You would expect this going to this game?
Well, yes, because from the examination staff from the camp, good preparation, so I expect to get them.
And football as well, they have bullets for going to Chancellor. What's our get so both for passing the pass. So down the plus 6, they will make no impact from it. So they make the loss to the total. They play bien, they call it about 2 months. So they don't say, when I football it happen.
Well, I feel very good because nobody knows they want to play final. At the end of the day, if they play competition for each final and try for win the trophy, but the first aim now for reach the final point first.
You would expect to not qualify?
Obviously, I have no problem with that. I have no doubt in my players.
Would I score a late goal? I be feeling I score the goal?
Well, I feel very good because of the late goal. We know so don't get us, so we able to maintain them because we get all what it takes for maintain the game. Because we get mature players, everything okay. At the end of the day, we score, we maintain the goal. At the end of the day, God make you come out victorious.
Congratulations to the two qualifying teams in the ongoing competition. They have qualified to the grand final. The winner will grab 10 million and the runner-up will take home 5 million. This competition is sponsored by Honorable Channel Majo Bao, is the Deputy Speaker in the House of Parliament. Away from our local team, in the international team, where is the big news for Real Madrid fan. We saw a good performance from Cristiano Ronaldo at the end of the season, getting the award as the best player in the world. 5 times winner in this award. It's a great achievement for Cristiano Ronaldo. Also, we saw the award, also good award was grabbed by the Juventus goalkeeper Buffon, despite the fail to win the Champions League, but he was voted in as the best goalkeeper of the season. So the other awardees and winners want to say congratulations to the winners in this year FIFA 2017 awards, more especially to Cristiano Ronaldo. So if you are a fan of Portugal or Real Madrid Football Club, you now be in happy mood because Cristiano Ronaldo getting the award as the best player in the world. Everton have sacked their manager Ronald Koeman after Sunday's 5-2 home defeat by Arsenal left them in the Premier League relegation zone. A statement said the club would like to express their gratitude to Ronald for the service he has given to the club over the past 16 months. The toughest 18 in the Premier League and have just won 2 matches after 9 games in the Premier League. So it's a disappointment for the Everton boss. He has been sacked after the defeat by the mighty Arsenal in the Premier League. That's all for sports. Back to you, Leona Jawa, in the studio.
All right, thank you so much, Hilton John, for all the sporting news details, for all the sport-loving fans. Well, that's how we end the news for today. That's all we have time for in our Star News Bulletin file. Thank you for watching. I am Leonora Jawara. Do stay blessed, and the weather forecast is up next.